All right, so let's do the following. I'm sunbathing in the nude, and I just noticed when I was going up to grab something to drink, I saw the same landscaper guy who does the yard there, and possibly the one here, left bozo number 3 and 2, but we're on to left bozo number 3 here. That's the same landscaper I flipped off. I can hear it on the other yard. I flipped up like 2 weeks ago and I put the video up, although you can't see me flip him off, but I did it anyways. He was on my own driveway and doing it for free, and it was absolutely infuriating that I had to leave early, and it was like at 6 something. It was ridiculous. You know, I can hear it. I can hear it. Anyways, I thought, well, they're still at the other yard. I still want to be in the sun. Let's just do a short little article I found on leaf blowing that I've wanted to do for a while. It's from the Houston Chronicle, local paper. I'm not in Houston proper, but close enough, right? And leaf blowers are a menace. Should Houston ban them? Opinion by Regina Landcanoe. Landcanoe, like a car. Anyway, so as a kid, my very first allowance came from a simple but punishing job, raking up fallen pine needles. We lived in Vienna, Austria at the time, and our backyard was dotted with stately firs and pines. They were beautiful, but oh boy did they shed. The problem was we couldn't blast air to blow the needles away. According to city regulations, all internal combustion lawn care equipment was verboten. These sort of rules are part of why Vienna is often dubbed the world's greenest city. My parents' genius solution: €5 for an afternoon of tedious raking. The rates were dirt cheap, but the life lesson would be priceless. That lesson about the true value of hard work was on my mind this week when I read a letter by Jim Ray, an out-of-town reader whose concern hits home here in Houston. And we'll read that letter some other day, but let's put a bookmark in that. He wrote about the legions of poison squads that invade every suburban neighborhood that can be found on many municipal streets and commercial parking lots. They call themselves landscapers, but activities are more akin to that of ecological assassins. The tools of their trade: the humble gas-powered leaf blower. I'm sure I don't need to tell you about the absolutely terrible, how absolutely terrible these gas guzzlers are for the environment. Just half of an hour of use releases about the same emissions as a round-trip drive from Houston to LA in an F-150 pickup truck. 1 hour of use kicks up about 5 pounds of fine particles of dust, animal feces, mold, fungi, pollen, heavy metals, and pesticides, all of which can lodge themselves in our lungs. For the record, I'm an ardent Republican, Mr. Ray wrote. This isn't about climate change activism, but about pragmatism. This is about children, because so many are going to see their lives and the lives of their loved ones cut short. Well, it's also just annoying, regardless of life expectancy, you know. And I'm glad that they put that in there, that, oh, he's a Republican, because a lot of this becomes this very lefty, eco-warrior stuff. And it's like, no, if you're a Republican and you have ears and you can sniff this gasoline all day long, you'd be annoyed too, right? This should be a bipartisan issue of anybody with ears and noses and eyes. That this is an awful, awful sort of thing. The devil's hair dryer. Unfortunately, the people who pay the price the most are the landscapers who use the leaf blowers and inhale the particulates they kick up. Well, I would say it's a silver lining. Like, you know, that's what you get for being annoying, right? And pragmatism is often to blame for their tool choices. When your income relies on the number and size of the yards you tackle each week, there's no financial incentive to use the greenest tool on the planet. The rake and the broom, I guess. You're looking for something powerful. Well, that's true, and that's why homeowners should be less douchey about it and be like, yeah, I don't want to do this to other people, so I'm gonna, you know, tell the landscaper to spend the same amount of time in my yard, but use hand tools that are not obnoxious. But somehow, these retards can't do that, so that's a shame. The two-stroke engine may be primitive, but it packs a punch that electric competitors have been able to replicate it. Again, but rakes do. Again, just spend the same amount of time with a rake, that's it. There's not that, it's summer. You know, I look at my driveway that this moron cleaned a week ago for no reason, for free, because he just loves doing free work, I guess. Well, he should love doing free work with a rake then. Okay? There's no extra leaves out there functionally. In 2.5 weeks or whatever it's been, it's a Monday, it was 2 weeks Friday. Yeah, let's say 16, 17 days. There's been barely any leaves here, because again, it's the summer. There's nothing falling to the ground now. You know, after the storm passed and all that, there's nothing on the ground, you know? So why are we doing this? You know, it's just this monkey see, monkey do nonsense. And that punch has inspired a whole array of colorful monikers for these leaf blowers, including Shrieking Menace, History's Greatest Monster, and Mechanical Locust, and my personal favorite, the Devil's Hair Dryer. David Dudley, the writer who coined that nickname, aptly wrote, "The tragedy of the leaf blower is that it makes assholes of us all, users and neighbors alike." Well, I don't use it, so it doesn't make an asshole out of me, but, you know, the neighbors are assholes who refuse to communicate with their leaf blower squads to tell them to not do it are assholes. The people who make a living off of this ruining the serenity of neighborhoods are also assholes. The people who don't use them, like me, we're not assholes. Sorry. We are victims. It's true, there's something about the shrill roar that instantly shoots up our blood pressure, sets off the neighborhood dogs, and makes any attempt to concentrate all but impossible. Harvard researchers have found that the leaf blower's low-frequency sound penetrates building walls and is deeply irritating. I'm sure we need studies on that. You know, you could have just asked me, but you know how it is. So much so that hundreds of cities have said enough is enough, implementing strict noise ordinances limiting leaf blower decibels and hours. In West University Place, I live right next to West University Place in Bel Air, by the way. It took 16 attempts before the City Council finally approved such an ordinance in 2020, expanding residential quiet hours and implementing tighter restrictions on loud lawn care equipment such as leaf blowers. Now, maybe, I don't want to do it now, but I've looked into this before. West University basically said that you can't do it past 5 p.m. 8 to 5 normal, right? So it's like, it still is, you can do it throughout the day. And that was just some massive upset that, oh, we can't possibly, you know. So it's not a ban, you know, it's not a ban. It is not the ban, it's not a ban at all, you know. It's a small restriction that you can't do it after 5 or something like that. And maybe 4 p.m. on Sundays, you know. So, and again, even if that's not enforced, then who cares, right? But I've seen some places that have said, let's do it only twice a week from 9 to noon. I've seen one city like that. Maybe if I do a video, another video, we'll figure that one out. But, okay, I mean, why are we using it ever? But, boy, that would be an improvement, you know, twice a day. And I don't think you can use gas ones there, but the whole thing's obnoxious. You know, many weren't surprised Westview would pass such an ordinance. As one Reddit poster noted, "I'm surprised they don't fine people for farting in public." Yeah, see, it's this, oh, first world problems, meh. It's like, no, this is obnoxious, stop doing it. But it's worth asking, who has the power, political or otherwise, to advocate for these kind of changes? And are these ordinances harming more than help? Fuck you. Harming? You know. Lawn care landscape. Nationally, the majority of landscapers are immigrants, many of whom are low income and living here without a legal immigration status. I guess we'll just have to call ICE then. Maybe let's call an ICE truck out here every time I see leaf blowers, you know, just right around. That's one way to get rid of it, huh? Leaving them with little bargaining power. The United States needs them, some argue, to fill jobs that Americans are not doing. That is backbreaking. Well, then make your kids do it. Stop being a fat pig and go out there and do it yourself. And that's the thing, once you do it yourself, it's like, yeah, I don't want it spotless. I don't want that look anyways. And what little I do is very practical. Like where I'm here, I mow this every couple months here because I don't want the grass or anything growing here. So I can be here and sunbathe, right? Another thing with this guy, I'm not hearing it. The problem is that he does blowing for 10 minutes super loud, and then doesn't do anything, then does it 10 minutes, and I think he does like 3 properties here or something like that, and he's here for like 2 hours. It's obnoxious. Anyways, demand for that labor grew out of post-World War II economic boom when the American dream was defined. Well, no, it didn't grow out of that. Most people used to do their own lawns, even with the suburbs, right? The leaf blower was invented functionally. It came in the mid-70s. And by the 80s, people were using it. In some places, it was started to be banned in the 70s. So no, the post-World War II boom, for 20, 30 years, people had no problem doing their own lawns and stuff. And most of the time, if they were to hire someone out, they didn't have loud things to use, except maybe a gas-powered mower or something. But even in the old days, people used to use push mowers that were entirely manual, like those they had those little wheelie things in the middle with like a combine harvester, except you had to push it. I had one of those, you know. So no, people used to use hand tools, or they hired out, and those people use hand tools. So don't tell me that, oh well, it's the no. People used to do this themselves for the most part, or they hired people who wouldn't do it with loud stuff. France has its formal geometric gardens, England's has picturesque parks, and America this unbounded democratic river of manicured lawn along which we array our houses. New York Times journalist Michael Pollan wrote in 1989. Oh, he became like a nutrition journalist guy. Except it wasn't quite that democratic. It was and is a status symbol. The greener the grass, the more free time and money you were assumed to have. Today that still holds true. Though it looks so great. I mean, we've been through this before, especially with all the trees here. All of this is so patchy and shitty. We've seen Left Bozo's lawn when he's not busy filling it up with turds, dog turds. Left Bozo number 2 did that. Left Bozo number 3 is doing the same fucking thing here. You know, I have to close the curtains on the kitchen all the time because I dare look out the kitchen window and I'm seeing these giant dog turds in the yard over here. Okay, I don't smell it, thankfully, but it's just disgusting. They have 3 large dogs now here. 3 large dogs. You know, and it's like, oh, we care so much about the aesthetics. It's dirt and dog turds back there. And we got to blow that every 2 weeks or whatever because, ooh, the leaves. The leaves are really a huge issue. I don't know. I suspect you don't care too much about aesthetics if you let your dog use this as a shitting grounds that's never picked up. And there's always massive dog turds in there. And it's a dirt patch anyway. So why? Oh, it's so picturesque. No, it's not. It's disgusting. It's just this monkey see, monkey do stuff. And we got to blow the leaves. We got to spend lots of money, poison the air, and waste our money. It has nothing to do with this. Because, again, is it pretty? Which of these lawns are pretty? At best, it might be a generic-looking yard. At best, if there's enough sun. Okay, we could then debate about the fact that it's actually not that good-looking, which it isn't. But it's not even good-looking most of the time. You know, I mean, Right Bozo over here, who does the electric stuff, I mean, his lawn's patchy in the back because there's too many trees there. So you're not going to have a lawn. Don't even try. And on the front, it's always patchy as well. The fact that he blows at it, the fact that he's mowing it every 5 minutes, that doesn't help, you know? But, anyways. Because that's the misleading thing is, oh, usually it takes 10 minutes and they're gone. This guy is insane. He does it over and over again. And he does other yards next to it. And he's here literally for 2 hours to do 3 fucking lawns. It's ridiculous. Right, so it's not about, oh, no. People were doing this. It doesn't look that good. Erasmo, a 70-year-old Mexican man with decades of experience landscaping yards, in Houston and its many suburbs, told me he's grateful for his job and for the kind clients he often works with. No. If you're using leaf blowers, you're not kind. You're fucking with everybody's mental health and sanity. No, you're not kind. One client gifted him a used car. Well, the client should have gifted him a rake, you know, and that's what should have been done. Others have offered to teach him English or help him fix his immigration status. Well, how about we fix his desire to use a fucking leaf blower all day long? But the pay varies a lot, he said. He gets paid anywhere between 20 to 40 on average for about 4 to 6 hours of work. The mosquitoes come out when the sun goes away. Ugh. Well, you know, we made it to 420. I can make it to 440 here if there's sun and it's not too loud here. So we were out here for an hour and a half. That's good. Let's see here. Yeah, people are crying a lot. No one is working 6 hours for 20 bucks. Like, fuck, seriously. You know, no. This is nonsense. All the tools he uses are gas powered and self-bought. Well, he might be working for $20 to $40 an hour or per yard. You're not making 20 bucks for 6 hours worth of work. No, that's $3 an hour. Stop lying. Stop the pity party. All the tools he uses are gas-powered and self-bought. When I asked him about switching to electric, something Dallas is planning to force all residents to do, to become carbon neutral by 2050, he laughed and said, carrying and changing those batteries is tough. Well, listening to your nonsense is tough. Although, again, I'm not a fan of electric blowers. I think they're terrible as well. Use a rake. Use a broom. You know, be more judicial in how much time you're spending, as opposed to just standing around for hours and blowing into the air for most of it. It's ridiculous. And all that for it to last around 40 minutes. No pragmatism always wins. Again, it's not pragmatic to blow 5 pounds of dust and feces into the air. Not pragmatic. Julio, another Mexican who has spent nearly half of his 45 years landscaping in Houston, told me the same. He believed the change to electric would be too expensive. Okay, I don't care. I don't care. Then use a rake. It's 20 bucks and that's it. That may be true at first. Studies have shown that within a year, the switch to electric would provide a positive return on investment with savings of nearly $3,000 by the end of the second year. Now, I don't know how that works. Like, are they counting... I guess we'll have to read the study. Is it like the gas? Because you have to use gas all the time, and that's more expensive than just charging it in the wall, right? I don't know. Still, generous rebates and subsidies go a long way in helping landscapers make the initial switch. Again, I don't like this. It's back. I don't like this this false dichotomy of, well, I guess we need to switch to electric. It's electric or gas. How about you use a rake? How about manual stuff? How about you do it yourself? Houston's climate action goals include helping residents switch to solar, but our city doesn't consider leaf blowers a priority. That's a shame. That's no surprise given that most U.S. mayors are wary of regulating individual choices. See the gas stove controversy. But how can we afford not to? Meh. Well, but gas stoves are not, again, this is why I don't like a lot of this climate nonsense, because this is a nuisance. Like, you don't need to worry about what the weather is going to be in 50 years, right? You need to, is that smoke? Oh no, I'm just blind. Well, let's try to finish this. How much do we have here? Because I got to run in before this stuff starts blasting here. It's annoying to listen to it over there, but it's just, I don't want the shit clouds literally to blast all over me. And I'm going to some Asian market to pick up some kimchi. I finally said, if I have to run away, that's where I'm going. I've neglected to buy kimchi. God, I hate these people. Erasmo has suffered his fair share of injuries, from rocks that pierced his eye to a fallen steel bar that mangled his arm to a blast of air that burst his left eardrum. Well, you know, then fuck you, Erasmo. You know, it's like you're injuring yourself for $20 for 6 hours worth of work, and you're ruining everybody else's mood and sanity. You make it impossible for people to enjoy their homes or gardens or anything, and you're injuring yourself. So, you know, you played yourself, and I think you kind of deserve it. Nothing was worse, however, than one particular day of leaf blowing that showered him in pesticide-ridden particulates for hours. I know it's you, Erasmo, that gets to blow to be blown with pesticide-ridden particulates. But what happens when it's done to the whole neighborhood to a lesser degree? It's a little more dispersed. But what if somebody's outside on their patio? You don't give a shit about that, Erasmo. His skin was on fire and his head felt like it was going to explode. He was sure he was going to die. Well, we can only hope. But again, it's this, you know, it's this low IQ idiot behavior, you know? Oh, you know, I had this stuff blown on me and boy, it really hurt me. You've been doing this for a whole lifetime and okay, maybe it disperses more, but you're blowing pesticide-ridden particulates all over the neighborhood, idiot. Okay? You don't care about that. I prayed to God and told him, if that's my time to go, it's my time to go. Well, unfortunately it wasn't, he recalled. So Erasmo dressed in his best clothes. If I was going to be found dead, at least I wanted to look presentable, and laid down to rest. It was by sheer miracle, he told me, he survived the night. And he keeps doing it, right? For $20 for 6 hours worth of work. Again, they're not sending their best, and these people are awful. I didn't even know what sleep was back then, he said, but that night I at least got to sleep a little. So that's from Regina Langkanau from the Houston Chronicle. We'll link to that and all that. But it's like, okay, so you're not that bright if you keep doing this. Okay, you're not that kind, empathetic if this is what you're hiring people to do. You're making other people listen to this stuff, breathe it in, and I mean, that's all I have to say about it. I'm going to take a shower, take everything in, then just head on down to the Asian market I found where they sell kimchi. That's really good, apparently. There was some woman at H-E-B who was bagging my groceries, and she saw I had kimchi, and she's like, "Oh, you like kimchi?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "There's this Asian market on Sawmill Road." I'm like, "You're talking up your competitor, but I'll check it out." And I still haven't, but I'm going to go today because this is going to be unbearable. Now, that's the other thing with these is I don't actually know if Left Bozo number 3 has a permanent contract, right? Because Left Bozo number 3, they come home really late at night. Like, they're total night owls. Like, I thought I'm a night owl. But I don't know if that was just a one-off thing they did where, oh, after the storm, just blow everything off and whatever. I don't know. That's the other problem is you never know when these people show up. You don't, is it going to be here? I don't know. It's always this massive uncertainty. Are they going to come at 8 in the morning and then I wake up early because nobody knows. It's a complete, you know, roulette wheel of when it happens. It's going to happen at some point. It's just, is it really going to ruin my sleep? Is it going to ruin whatever I'm trying to work on? I don't know. They get to do whatever, you know, blow leaves around, all 7 of them, whenever you want, however you want. Just, yeah. So anyways, I think that's it for now. We read through the article and yeah. All right, so it is 6:17. Right over here, we got our kimchi. It's fermenting. You can see bubbles. You can feel. I haven't. Oh, you can see the bubble right there. Look at that. It popped a little bit when I tried opening it. Anyways, it smells nice. I haven't tasted it. We are not here for a taste test of the kimchi. I'm sure it's very excellent. However, the leaf blower people. So I left. You know, this started right before 4. I was still out there at 4. I finished the video around 4. They got here around 3:30, 3:40, and I'm like, oh, I've been out for 30 minutes. It's going to ruin it. Now, they weren't leaf blowing directly here yet, but look at this shit. And I think they stopped for now. Okay. He was just putting it in his car, the leaf blower. So just now is this guy leaving. Just now. 3 yards. I call that guy Front Bozo. Because when you're standing out here, he does it himself. He's kind of loud with it, but whatever. Fine. At least he doesn't have a gas blower, right? He does the right of Front Bozo. He does what is Left Bozo, because, again, it doesn't make any sense. He does to the left of Left Bozo as well. So 3 lots in basically 3 hours. So, you know, Erasimo or whatever was crying about how, oh, I only make $20 in 6 million hours. It's like, well, you know, if you weren't so fucking slow, you know, because, oh, it's so fast. Is it? Is it? Doesn't seem very fast. But it takes you 3 hours. And he had a helper here today, by the way. I've never seen another guy out here, just with that one old guy, you know, who's on fire, hopefully. You know, I've only seen this guy out here, you know. And, you know, we have to evacuate the premises here and go on an errand to go buy kimchi somewhere else. But it's ridiculous I have to do this. Like, you know, I finally worked it into my schedule to buy the kimchi that was recommended. But why do I have to do this? Why is it that I cannot live in my own fucking house and there is a 3-hour time span almost where somebody just gets to come here and just, you know, and poison the air. When I got out here to the car to go get the kimchi, it was the usual, you know, dust everywhere. And it's not particularly windy today, so it was just hanging here. You know, I can't particularly smell it right now, right? Sure, it's somewhere else, you know. But it's just unbearable, you know. That it takes almost 3 hours to do these small 5,000-6,000 square foot lots. right? And that's not the whole yard, because there's the house, there's the driveway. It's like this takes basically at least 50 minutes, 45 minutes each. Because again, this guy got here around 3:30. It is now almost 6:30. It's 3 hours. 3 hours to do this? I mean, I could do it with a rake, you know? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyways, I think that's it for now. Let's combine the two vids and it's all going to be fun.